Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Pledger, or jump on our YouTube feed at SA Sports Star. Like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show there on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. We're everywhere, or at least I am. At I am Pledger. The station is too. The station's now on TikTok. SA Sports Star. Check it out. Joe already dropped a video on TikTok, so that would be worth your while just to go check that out. A lot of people think that because it's the ESPYs, because there's no sporting events going on, the All-Star game has passed, we've got nothing until the weekend, this is the dead period of sports. But it's not. There is so much going on in sports between baseball trade deadline, starting to hear some rumblings coming up towards the end of the month as that starts to gain speed as we got past the All-Star game. Training camp's just a couple of weeks away. You can already feel football sneaking back into our lives. And of course, we get Big 12 Media Day today. And not only is it Big 12 Media Day today, but Texas spoke today. Texas was the final one to the podium. And head coach Steve Sarkisian managed to join to talk about whether it was going to be awkward or not as Texas comes to play a Big 12 schedule for the final time.
It won't be awkward for us. I can't speak for anybody else. It won't be awkward for us. We've got a roster full of players who, quite frankly, came to the University of Texas to try to win a Big 12 championship. And we've got one more opportunity to do that, and I think our guys are focused on that. And so it won't be awkward from our end, but like I said, I can't speak for everybody else.
Well, if it's not awkward for everyone else, because Texas and OU leaving, they are the bell cows of the Big 12. They are usually the last to the podium. They garner the most television eyes, and this isn't about wins and losses anymore. I'm just talking about brand recognition. Texas and OU are the biggest brands within the Big 12. You can make an argument over the last 5, 6, however many years. TCU's been better. Baylor's been better. But you cannot deny the fact that the Longhorns and the Sooners are the ones that generate the television revenue that the Big 12 has capitalized on. And the Big 12, well, at least those within it, some are very hurt by this decision. One of those hurt by this decision is Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy, who was asked about the possible final Bedlam rivalry.
The Bedlam game is going to be laid to rest, obviously, because of the happenings. But would you entertain the idea from your perspective and Oklahoma State to play them as a non-conference game?
No, we have 9 conference games scheduled, and then we have, I think, through, 15 years, we're scheduled all the way up. And we're full for the most part, and we have Power 5 teams. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. Oklahoma State's not going to change what we do because Oklahoma chose to go to the SEC. They need to change what they do because they're the ones that made their mind up to go to the SEC. So with all the talk from administration and people saying that Oklahoma State needs to do this and that, all Oklahoma had to do was not go to the SEC. So it is what it is. We can cut right to the choice. So for me, I want to listen to the board. I'll listen to the president. I'll listen to the AD. If that's something they want to do, I'm good, but I don't think it's going to happen based on the way the scheduling is. And everybody needs to realize it didn't have to happen if they didn't change leagues.
This is feeling like A&M leaving all over again, to where there's going to be hurt feelings. And most of those hurt feelings reside in the Big 12. A&M carved out their own brand, their own recognition, leaving the Big 12 was the best thing for the Texas A&M Aggies to do at the time. Not having that rivalry sucked. But it did end up working in Texas A&M's favor. This sounds like Mike Gundy is upset that they weren't asked to come with. More so than anything. This feels like hurt feelings. Because at the end of the day, Texas and OU have to do what's best for Texas and OU, not specifically the Big 12. And that is one of the reasons Texas created their own network. Nobody was coming at the Big 12 about a Big 12 network, but ESPN flopped down $100 million at Texas's doorstep to create a Longhorn network. Everybody can be as mad about that as they want, but Texas had to do what is best for Texas, and creating a network specifically for them that would give them an influx of cash is best for them. And right now, leaving for the SEC is best for both Texas and OU when you talk about the monetary shares from the television revenues that are going to come once they head to that conference. Now, the Big 12 is supplemented the best way they know how, as Brett Yorkman said, on expansion with Cincinnati, UCF, adding BYU. They've got the 4 teams in place that they think will really help them to grow.
Well, I mean, I think I answered the question of what I think about the 4 schools, but I will tell you, we serve our member institutions, and we're engaged with them on a daily basis. And to the extent that we can help them elevate and amplify what they do and how they do it, that's our role. And I think we've started doing that all right. And listen, let's face it, it's been a bit of a step for them up to the Big 12, but they've embraced it, they're investing behind it, and we're collaborating. So again, excited to have the 4 schools, and they're doing a great job.
One of those 4 schools is the University of Houston. And the University of Houston, once a part of the Southwest Conference, and the Southwest Conference broke up and the Big 12 formed, and Houston was kind of left out of it. And Dana Holgorsen knows they're only getting one shot at Texas, really. And Dana Holgorsen, he's an alum of the Big 12. He came from West Virginia before going to Houston. He knows how important this is, but he also knows he can't be overlooking that first game either.
Well, that means a lot, clearly. We got one shot at them, and our fan base is going to be excited about that. That's driving season tickets. It's driving a lot of excitement. I'm a little bit more worried about UTSA. They're game 1. They're pretty good. Yeah. We got out of there luckily last year in a triple overtime game. So there's a whole lot of work to do prior to that game.
UTSA, baby. They are in it. And not only are they in it, they are commanding the respect. Because as he said, he knows they had a 3 overtime game with them. But at the same time, you start to hear all the questions. UTSA, why aren't they invited to the Big 12? That should be the next step for them. Well, I believe there's an issue with them being next in line to move to the Big 12. And it has nothing to do with their play on the field right now or anything else. It's about just being ready to compete, facilities, cash-wise, whatever it may be, with what the Big 12 offers, because it's going to be hard enough in the AAC as they step up to that. I mean, Dana Holgorsen, who's coming from the AAC back into the Big 12, knows they're not ready to compete yet, at least in the facility battle and everything that goes along with competing in the Big 12 just quite yet.
It's just got time. That's the only thing, is time. That building is going to happen. It's going to start in December. We'll all get excited about it once we see dirt moving, but it's still time. Okay. And there's a lot of Big 12 schools that are full share right now. Well, the only way we're going to be full share is time, and so, it's going to be 3 years before we're on equal playing field. That doesn't give you any excuses to not be successful and not be competitive. That's just going to take time, 3 years, but it's going to happen. You can mark your calendar 3 years from now. We're going to have what we need. But in the meantime, we expect to line up, be competitive, recruit at a high level, compete at a high level. And that's what we're going to do.
And that's part of it. You've got to be able to compete both on and off the field. And UTSA's got the on part. But if the off doesn't start matching the on, then you start to lose that edge. And while the Alamo Dome's nice, UTSA doesn't even really have an indoor facility right now for their football team. Not to mention the other sports on UTSA's campus. There is a lot that needs to take place, and that university needs to grow all of its facilities across all of its sports, not just football. But football is going to be the tip of the spear that leads the rest of the university forward. So not making the jump or not getting that initial invite when the Big 12 was expanding or their second round of expansion, a lot of it has to do with the fact that UTSA needs to get everything else in order to be able. Look, Dana says they need time, and they have Tillman Fertitta money backing that university. Time's a very important thing when you're jumping to a new conference. As a matter of fact, the University of Texas, while their facilities are top-notch, I'm sure there's going to be some extra money going into it so that they can compete in those like Alabama. Same goes for the University of Oklahoma. Because when you step up in competition, you step up in facilities, you step up in recruiting, it is a step up in everything. And the Roadrunners still have to make one of those steps up. They've stepped up the competition in football. They are, you can make an argument, if not the best, one of the best football programs in the state of Texas over the last 4 or 5 years with Jeff Traylor. He has done an incredible job. But how many times have we heard Jeff Traylor come to the mic and say, our school needs more money for retaining our own coaches, players, NIL, facilities? And that's part of his job right now, is trying to get more money into the program to get these things that this university still needs. And it's going to need it after stepping up. And hopefully, I know that Dave Campbell's football magazine, or Phil Still, has them predicted to win the AAC in their very first year. A lot because of the foundation that Jeff Traylor has laid. But they will need that success to translate off the field as well for them to continue to build what Jeff Traylor has built to this point. I'm James Pledger. This is Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Coming up next, Joe Reinagel of the Blitz will join me. Him and Menix got into it regarding Wemby and how he should be handled and how big of a role an agent has with the player, with an organization, with everything involved. I'm going to at least try and talk to Joe and see if I can get him to meet me in the middle, because I see what he's saying. I do. But I'm going to have a discussion and see if I can bring him a little bit closer to me and Jason. That and more coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, or you can call into the show, 656-ESPN, 210-656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation right here on Extra Innings, 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's R&R in the morning Thursday on R&R in the Morning, Rob and I give you some of our biggest what-ifs in sports history. Big 12 Media Days are underway. We discuss what we've seen and heard.
Hey, Rudy, the ESPYs were last night. We're going to tell you whether Shakur Stevenson won the best boxer, and did Max Verstappen win the best driver over Brittany Force? I can't wait.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the Morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's my birthday, and here is your invite this Friday. There's not going to be anywhere else you want to be but Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, the Nacogdoches location. Starting at 2 p.m., we're going to get the party started. We're going to have the fellas from the Blitz live on air. Jason and Joe, happy hour drinks going to be flowing. Tons and tons of prizes and freebies just for coming out. You're also going to get an opportunity to see Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, Too Short in Austin, and more. That's this Friday at Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, the Nacogdoches location.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Get ready for the Diamonds Direct Midsummer Savings Event. Starting Friday, you can take an extra 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement mountings, fashion styles, and wedding bands included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. Sizzling summer store-wide sale starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The water coming in and out of your home is like laughter. Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, it can be harsh. Now that's harsh. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener enjoy this. Smooth, soft, pure, clean water. The difference is astounding. Hard water, soft water. If you don't have a Connecticut water softener in your home, you're basically inviting destructive hard water to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And that's no laughing matter. This is Chris Knippa with Connecticut San Antonio in the Hill Country. Call me for a free in-home evaluation at 656-PURE. Right now, get 0% interest on a Connecticut system. I'll even let you try the Connecticut water softener for 90 days, absolutely free. Connecticut is simply the best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own. Don't live with. Live with.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
When traveling to see the Longhorns in Austin, make sure you bring along the guys from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Don't forget, Rob Thompson will be joining me a little bit later in the show. But first, My good friend Joe Reinagle stops by.
What's going on, Pledge?
What's happening, Joe?
Just taking a nice drive to the house.
Well, I mean, it must be. There's still light outside, I imagine. I don't know. I don't
There
get out there
is.
today.
No, it's nice out here. You know, not much traffic. It's all good.
Well, to help pass the time on your way home, I thought I'd make you think about jerking that wheel into the retainer wall or something.
Yeah, I got to be careful, man. Talking to you about Wemby, I'm afraid of that, but I'll control myself.
You and Jason had a very intriguing argument, let's say, earlier today on the Blitz. And of course, if you want to catch that, you can always catch it at the Audio Vault at sasportstar.com or on our YouTube page. Go back, check out earlier today's Blitz, sasportstar.com. But y'all were talking about Wemby and the agent talking about wanting to keep him a certain weight. And their goal is not to put on any more additional weight. And it sprawled into this whole thing about how much control the agent should have, right? Am I summarizing it good enough?
I think you did a good job, yeah.
Okay. And you, from the sound of it, thinks it is absurd that the agent would even consider broaching the topic to the Spurs organization about how his client should be handled.
Well, broaching the subject is one thing, but it got into a discussion of that the agent is going to call the shots. And I just don't see that that's possible, not with this franchise. I know it's a players' league. I know the players, get what they want, but I just cannot see a Greg Popovich-led squad allowing an agent to tell that franchise what they're going to do with their player.
And I think this is the disconnect between it, is the agent works for the player, does he not?
Sure.
And the agent will go to the team with certain players' requests, whether he wants only green M&Ms in the break room or the green room, as Jason suggested, or calling him an Uber in the middle of the night, or many different things that an agent handles for a player outside of legitimately just his contract. There is
Absolutely.
a multitude of things that the agent controls for the player. One of those things
Sure, or suggests to the team for the player.
Yes.
Just because he says he wants green M&Ms in the break room doesn't mean he's going to get green M&Ms in the break room.
But the agent also brings that up to the player when it's time to evaluate a contract. Like, hey, remember how you wanted green M&Ms and you didn't get them? Well, it's time to resign, and the other team wants to give you green M&Ms.
They do, but they can't offer you as much money as the Spurs can, and so it's probably better you stay here because I'm going to make more money.
Well, that's where the sign and trade comes in and why we've seen it across the league. Now, beneficial to working with everyone, Wemby has been with a certain set of trainers. The NBA, he has taken care of his body a certain way to protect it from injury. And they have gone about this revolutionary new way of training to help to keep him healthy.
Uh-huh.
The agent goes to the Spurs and says, hey, Wemby would really like his trainers on staff, and that for y'all to start to use some of the training methods that he uses that have been proven that he is comfortable with. That is the agent telling the Spurs, I would like you to do this. Now, he is telling them this. It is a suggestion on the player, on the agent to the Spurs on the player's behalf. But he is still telling them, hey, we would like you to do this.
Sure, he's suggesting it, and the Spurs thought it'd be a great idea to bring a trainer in to help facilitate and keep Wemby on the path that he's been on. However, I have to believe that this trainer, as great as he is and as great a job as he's done, Spurs employ some pretty good trainers of their own. And I think and they know the NBA game a little bit better, I think, than Wemby and or his trainer. And I think all of that working together will probably produce the best solution, the best, I don't know, the best thing for Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. And that's where I'm coming from. I believe the agent can suggest. I believe that's probably happening. There's a little circle over maybe a glass of wine and this and that, and we prefer this. But I just don't believe, not with this franchise. I'm sure it happens with other franchises, not with this one, that they are going to let an agent completely call the shots when it comes to Victor Wembanyama or anybody else for that matter. And it's just not going to happen. The Spurs have been a successful franchise for a long time, and they've done things the right way. And I just don't see them completely relinquishing control to an agent or anybody else, regardless of who that player is.
David Alejandro on our YouTube Live says, sounds like, when Tim was ready to leave for the Magic and Doc Rivers said that his family couldn't travel with him. You need to be flexible when it comes to a talent like that. And
no question.
I do believe there's flex, and I think that's the point is you, or at least in y'all's argument, you heard tell the Spurs what to do and thought they were going to come in demanding this is exactly like you got to make Wemby touch the ball 60 times a game and make sure he gets at least 15 shots. I don't believe that's it, but I do believe it falls closer to, hey, Spurs, this is something we would really, really like. And the Spurs wanting to acquiesce to their superstar, I would imagine in some way, shape, or form to keep him happy. Not every time, but I do believe that there is a give and take amongst both sides, the agent, the talent, and the organization.
I have no problem with that. And again, I think everybody getting on the same page. And Minnick says that, and maybe that's the point he was trying to make. I'm just saying it sounded to me like in our discussion earlier that it was like whatever the agent wants because it's Wemby and the amount of money he's going to bring into the city and yada, 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 that he's going to get whatever he wants. And with this franchise, I just don't believe that. As much as Tim Duncan got, his family, I get that. And that was Doc Rivers saying, hey, this is how we operate. And it cost him Tim Duncan because Duncan was on his way. That was part of it. The other part of it was his wife at that time didn't really like Orlando. So, and that was another part of it. Mm-hmm. But Tim Duncan, Greg Popovich, would chew Tim Duncan out as much as he would anybody else. He treated him no differently than anybody else. And I cannot imagine that he's going to start that now. It just doesn't. That's not the Greg Popovich I know, and I've been around for the last, 27 years. It's not him. He will treat Victor Wembanyama as a San Antonio Spur when he has that uniform on. And if Wemby makes a mistake, Pop's going to let him know about it. Now, he may not be as demonstrative as he once was, but he's going to let him know about it. And I think Wemby will appreciate that. I really do. And I think Wemby already has a relationship with Greg Popovich, and they're going to work together. I have no problem with them working together. But an agent or anybody else is not going to come in and tell the Spurs how they need to run their organization. I don't care who the player is.
I don't think that he's coming in telling the Spurs this is the way it must be, but I do believe that he has some suggestions, and those suggestions should and usually will be taken extremely seriously by the organization.
I'm sure that they will, unless Pop disagrees or a consensus disagrees. And I think that's what we're talking about. Sure, if it's a compromise and it's suggestions and this is how we've done it before, it would be very difficult for me to believe that agent and Wemby would say, well, you guys just haven't been doing it right then. And I can't believe that would be the case, because all they would have to do is take them inside the practice facility and say, check out up there. I think we've been doing something right. So, and I think, look, I think we're discounting Wemby here. I really do. I believe that this young man wants to be coached. I believe that he wants to win basketball games. And so I think he's going to be a much better soldier, if you will, than people are thinking. I mean, I got the feeling today that, people think that Wemby's some kind of prima donna that's going to come in here and start demanding things and do this and that. And then the comparison to Kawhi Leonard was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I mean, Kawhi Leonard was Kawhi Leonard, and it wasn't his agent who was making the demands. So I just don't see Wemby as that way. I think he's going to come in here. He's going to be a good basketball player. He's going to follow a proven successful program, and I think he's going to be better off for it. So I just don't see him coming in here as a prima donna demanding all of these things just because that's the way it was once done.
No, and I agree with you, but I also don't see Pop ruling with an iron fist and saying it is my way or the highway, because he hasn't been that in the past. He has changed his offense from 4 down to the beautiful game. We've seen him. He makes sure to surround himself with coaches who have different opinions than his own, that they can then talk things out about. He encourages disagreement.
But yeah, and you're exactly right, Pledge. He does, but he makes the final call. And if there's any question about that, you're just not watching. Greg Popovich runs that basketball team, and he's going to run that basketball team the way he sees fit. And I refuse to believe that any other way. And I said this ending the show, unless Pop or R.C. Buford tell me otherwise, I have to believe that it's going to be the successful way that they've run this program for a long time. And it will stay that way, even with Victor Wembanyama, who will we've already seen a trade-off, and I have no problem with that. But when push comes to shove, Greg Popovich runs this club.
He is Joe Reinagle. You can follow him on Twitter at Joe Reinagle210. Instagram. Do not believe Threads.
No threads. Don't thread me, Pledge. Don't thread me.
I'm not threading you, but I have seen your TikTok.
Yes, go to TikTok. Check that out and follow us there.
At SA Sports Star, he is Joe Reinagle, co-host of The Blitz with Jason Minix, weekdays from 2 to 6. You can catch him every day. Thanks for the time, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me, Pledge.
That is Joe Reinagle right here on Extra Innings with Pledger. Coming up next, though, I look forward to the mornings because my guy Rob Thompson steps in as we continue to talk about weight. Well, there is not enough in Wemby's case, and then sometimes there's too much. We'll discuss whether that's something that can be gotten over in a mindset way. That's coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledger on San Antonio Sports Star 941 and SASportsStar.com.
Freshness made easy with Febreze Small Spaces.
Want continuous freshness that fights odors with no batteries and no outlets? Try Febreze Small Spaces. Ah, but what's a small space? To answer that, we brought in our lawyer.
Small spaces include, but are not limited to, bathrooms, closets, laundry room, kid room, pet corners, man cave, she sheds, most nooks, and all crannies.
There you go. Febreze Small Spaces is the world's most convenient. Febreze Small Spaces is super convenient and never stops freshening for 45 days.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I know a lot of you really want the State Farm personal price plan, but what's with the oversharing? Like this message Mateo left.
Jake from State Farm, you should know orange juice commercials make me cry. I feel bad for the oranges.
You don't need to get that personal. The State Farm personal price plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the it's, KBB.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
At the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking. With savings on top brand appliances, like a new LG CounterDepth Max refrigerator with ultra-large capacity on the inside and a seamless look on the outside. Or an LG oven with built-in air fryer for crispier, healthier cooking. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Final days to get special buy savings plus up to $1,000 off select kitchen appliances like this exclusive LG kitchen package at the Home Depot. Ends July 12th.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's single and a Frosty for
Frosty
me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
For a computer virus, you don't plan to lose files. You don't plan to knock your laptop off the counter, and you don't plan for your PC to crash or your screen to freeze. But Staples has a plan for unlimited virus protection, a plan for help when you need it 24/7. Staples Total Support Plans are your tech plans for the unplanned, starting as low as $199.99. And although you didn't plan for this, right now at Staples, you can also get $250 off select computers. N729 in-store only. See associate for details.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star welcomes the future.
And so when someone says bulk up.
Why? What for? You should tell all this to skinny up.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. Of course, on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Thank all those for commenting along, like James Ramondi, Joshua Jimenez. Just got done with Joe, but I want to talk to my co-host from yesterday as I sat in for Rudy J and got to do a show with Rob Thompson. And if you don't know, I'll be doing a show, Extra Innings, live for Rudy J's birthday with Rob Thompson joining me for the full hour out at Slacker's Slackadoch's location. That is right, Rudy J's birthday. We are partying.
Wait. Let me get this straight.
Yep.
So he gets his birthday off.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else has to work on a day that's not his birthday.
Yep.
For a party that's for him, for a birthday that already happened.
Yes.
Let me get, so just so we're okay.
It's good to be the king, right?
It must be, man. Hey, I was listening earlier. I'm walking on top of the hill, and it's about 117 degrees. And the only thing hotter than my front yard
so it's cooling down.
Joe's anger
Oh my gosh, Joe Reinagle. Don't you know that you treat your third kid way different than the first? Way different. You even pointed it out.
I was treated way different.
Acquiesce. Bring your other guys. Yeah, come work out. Bring them on, man. Yoga, we're down. We don't need to wear shoes. He's already the grandfather. He's already being that guy.
And look, I do believe that is a melding of ideas, and the Spurs are not just acquiescing, but probably updating some of their fitness and dealing with somebody that is so uniquely different.
Absolutely, James. I'm kidding. But this is a different era. This is a different man. And Greg Popovich, he's a different man than he was 5 years ago. He's certainly a different man after that ass whipping he had to take all last season. So I think all this combined for a perfect storm. I also agree with Joe that Wemby's here to play. I don't have it. I have no doubt about his want to. I have no doubt. So there might be some poor decisions for a 19-year-old kid, and I expect them to make a couple of bad decisions when you're young. When the hell are you going to make them? And the longer you wait to make them, the worse they are. So make them a couple of mistakes, 19-year-old. I'm down with it. We got some time. But when you juxtapose what we're dealing with a skinny dude who would like to see to eat a cheeseburger now and again, to where New Orleans is 4 years from where we are today. Now, think about where New Orleans was 4 years ago. They were where we are.
They're stoked.
But they were having the conversation about waiting the chose poorly.
Mm-hmm.
They chose a dude that by every bit of evidence, both audio, I heard them, if you listen to the show this morning, go to the audio vault there at sasportstar.com, watched by Abe Estelvans, as always. On a podcast with Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero, he said it's hard to diet when you're 21, when you have all the money in the world. And like, man, do you know how you made that money? So it was at that moment that I think every New Orleans Pelican arrived that this kid doesn't want it. He got the money. Now, it doesn't mean they're done, because at 80% Zion is still pretty damn good. But,
he is.
But I think every Pelican fan sunk in their seat and goes, oh, my God, everything is real. What we thought is true.
And he
can't control himself.
Here's the biggest thing I have with that, and I heard you and Rudy talking about this morning. Not everybody has Kobe's mindset. Not everybody wants to get up and put in the work every day.
That's 1 in 1,000. You know what I mean? So I'm not comparing him to Kobe. Shoot, I'm trying to, let's just compare him to the next guy. I mean, it is not shocking for a guy to get that kind of money and go, you know what, I got it. What is spend all this money? So why should I continue on? Hey, man, there but go the grace of God. I would react. I'd like to find out. But it could easily at him. But if I'm a New Orleans Pelican, I'm very concerned. Whereas if I'm a Spur fan, skinny, fat, tall, I don't know what 7'5" with a handle is supposed to look like. No one does. So I think we go with what's worked. And I do believe that if the Spurs and their organization and all ain't doing what we need to do, Wemby would follow suit.
Yes.
He is a teammate. He's a player. I don't want to project too much. Seem like a guy who has some want to. And once you know the kids have want to, then everything else will fall into place.
Well, he does have want to, as I don't know if you know this, but he is still in Las Vegas. And he was asked what he considers to be a successful rookie season for him. And he said this.
Having a better record for my team than last year. And I've been looking into other data of the past years, the past number one picks, and what impact they've had. And I'm trying to be better than every guy before me.
I'm trying to be better than every guy before me, he said. That's lofty, because there's a lot of guys that came before him, and there was a bunch of guys that came before him. One of those guys that came before him, his name is Michael Jordan. So when he says he wants to be better than any guy that came before me, those are lofty goals that he has set.
Well, okay. James, who is the best rookie
Best rookie that I've ever witnessed with my own two eyes? I mean, because I've seen some great rookies that have fallen off after their rookie season. And then I've seen greatness personified. And probably the greatest rookie that I've ever seen personified, I would say, is LeBron. Just because of the overall expectations and going, there's no way he could live up to that hype. And somehow he did.
Oh, no. Talking about living up to hype. I'm just talking about, think back, who is the best rookie you can remember, whether they won Rookie of the Year or not, or went on to have a Hall of Fame. Who is it? Because LeBron wasn't extraordinary. He was really, really good. But, he kind of told us, yeah, the future's bright, but we had to wait a year or two.
Yeah.
I don't know what the expectations should be for Wemby. I will say this, and if you listen in the mornings, you heard me say it before, I think he is going to be the Defensive Player of the Year and not get Rookie of the Year.
Is that possible?
Well, we're going to find out. I don't know how you don't vote for a guy who's going to average 6 blocks a game, not Defensive Player of the Year. The guy that won it last year averaged 3 blocks a game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think he can do that standing on his head.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to just throw that out in the ether. We might very well see something absolutely unprecedented and very well earned on both sides, because Scoot Henderson is a man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a man showing up in Portland, and he's going to have free reign to do what he will. What do we expect from Portland once Dame leaves? Not a lot, and he could do a lot with them. So there are some serious contenders that are a little bit further down the road of development than Wemby is. So I don't, we talk about what do we expect from him. His first answer was the one. We need to be better than last year. That's all. Man, I don't know what else. How were we when I was not here, and how are we now? That's the only expectation he should follow. Everything else, let his coaches decide. Let everybody, his team decide the goals, whether it's worthy to chase this or get that. But you can affect wins.
Yeah, and I think he can affect wins and losses. I think that's going to be the biggest impact we feel from Wemby. Is this team is probably going to crawl upwards, I would say at least 10, maybe 15 to 20 wins from where it ended last season. Because last season was willful. We've all said that. They were holding guys out purposefully. They were talking about paper cuts. That they put guys on the shelf. They put wonky lineups in at the end when games were close after 3 quarters. Last year was willful, and it worked. So 22 is a bar that I don't even think that they truly were if they were trying last year.
And realized about April that it's a bad idea to be good this early. Dealt with some injuries, put a couple of guys down, let some more rookies come in and play, make a big deal, and here they sit. Another brilliant draft, and they didn't make the playoffs last year, and everybody in Utah is celebrating. I would like to think San Antonio keeps that same mindset.
Yeah, and Utah's one of those. I think the Spurs are closer to the trajectory that the Thunder are on, if we're being honest, as a team that might make the play-in this coming year. They've got a lot of talent. They lost their number 2 overall pick before the season even started, yet we're still good enough to make their way in the Western Conference. And you have to think about other teams in the West too. Do we believe Sacramento is a 3 seed, or will they regress to the mean and come back to the pack in some way, shape, or form?
I don't know, man. I like Sacramento. I think they're going to be better.
Better than the 3 seed.
Another day.
Okay.
Friday when we're live out at Slackers.
Sounds like a plan to me. He is Rob Thompson. Catch him every morning along with Rudy J on R&R in the morning from 6 to 10. Rob, thanks for taking some time with me this afternoon.
I hope you can smell the barbecue smoke. The Traeger's calling. I'll talk to y'all later.
That man lives on a barbecue pit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to put a bow in the show and pour one out the door as we finish up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's R&R in the morning.
Thursday on R&R in the morning, Rob and I give you some of our biggest what-ifs in sports history. Big 12 Media Days are underway. We discuss what we've seen and heard.
Hey, Rudy, the ESPYs were last night. We're going to tell you whether Shakur Stevenson won the best boxer, and did Max Verstappen win the best driver over Brittany Force? I can't wait.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's patio season, so get over to the Roo Pub at 281 and Redland Road to enjoy the great South Texas weather. As always, ice-cold beer and specialty drinks, happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6, and the kitchen is open late until 2 a.m. every day. Add the Roo Pub into your lunch rotation. With those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around, you know there is no better place to watch a game, and they always have all the fights. The Roo Pub, next to the Angry Elephant, 281 and Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
If you've been injured in a car or truck accident, y'all need you to call the Rexperts. Hey, it's Rudy J. Hilly and Solis, most people don't know anything you say or write can and will be used against you by the insurance company to reduce or possibly deny your accident claim. The law office of Hilly and Solis will go to work and make sure you get the compensation you deserve, and they're going to make sure you get it fast. They're former prosecutors. They don't just know how to fight. They know how to win. Let the Rexperts take care of dealing with insurance companies so you can worry about yourself and you can worry about your family. Don't let these insurance companies take advantage of you. See if you can turn that crash into cash. Hilly and Solis will hire the top medical and technical experts to support your claim. Call for your free, yes, free, no obligation consultation right now at 210-762-6261. That's 210-762-6261.
Principal office in San Antonio, Texas. Message brought to you by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters has a smoking hot deal. Purchase any Mother's Window Tint, car stereo, remote start, or car alarm and get a 1 month free Amsterdam Club, located next to Mother's on 281 North. Enjoy your gummies in comfort while you get your windows tinted with any one of our high-quality, fully guaranteed films to stop the blazing hot summer sun from burning up you and your car's interior. MothersWindowTint.com with stores in San Antonio and Austin. Follow us on Facebook. Add a professional layer of security to your car with our remote start car alarm combo. Make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother thump with one of our subwoofers, stereos, backup cameras, name brands, and expert installation. Remember, do it at Mother's and save!
Get ready for the Diamonds Direct Midsummer Savings Event. Starting Friday, you can take an extra 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement mountings, fashion styles, and wedding bands included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. You can't miss this. Diamonds Direct's sizzling summer store-wide sale. Starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
It can happen in an instant. A car accident can change your life forever. From serious injuries to mounting medical bills to battling insurance companies, accidents make life harder than it should be. If you've been in an accident, George Salinas Injury Lawyers are here for you. They're local, experienced, and ready to fight for results that make a difference. If you've been injured, don't call just any lawyer. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit georgesalinas.com.
George gets justice.
If you travel as much as the San Antonio sports guys travel, while you're on the road, be sure to take us along. Listen to the 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star live stream anywhere on the Odyssey radio app.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure. I'm James Pleasure. Follow me on Twitter at I Am Pleasure, also on Threads, Instagram there. You can follow the station at SA Sports Star. We're both also on TikTok at those handles. But before we head into the evening, I'd like to pour one out the door.
Pour me, pour me, pour me, pour me.
And as I pour one out the door, I want to pour it for the Kansas City Chiefs as they are staying on top of things. There has been rumors about them working on getting a Chris Jones deal done. Chris Jones, their defensive tackle. And if they manage to get this Chris Jones extension done, it is massive for what they can accomplish. And what they can accomplish is basically running away and hiding from the rest of their competition, as we listen to ESPN's Jeff Darlington explain why that would be.
Chris Jones, by taking a boatload of money in the form of an extension, could be lauded as a hero in Kansas City because he could potentially free up money that would allow the Chiefs to make a move on offense. Now, it doesn't guarantee that Brett Veach, the general manager of the Chiefs, will do this, but ultimately, by freeing up cap space, the Chiefs, which are up against the cap right now, unlike really any other team in the NFL, would have enough money to go out and potentially someone like DeAndre Hopkins, who remains a free agent, they could go out there and potentially try to lure him in to Kansas City. Right now, Hopkins has visited with the Titans and the Patriots. The Chiefs could step in and say, hey, look, you can catch passes from Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we can't pay you quite as much as those other guys, but we now have a little bit of money because of Chris Jones' extension, if they get it done, to go ahead and make a move for a potential offensive player.
If they get this Chris Jones deal done, and that gives them enough money to go get a DeAndre Hopkins, who would by far be playing with the best quarterback he has ever played with throughout his entire career, and I was there for a lot of his career. The best quarterback he played with up until that point was Deshaun Watson. Before that, it was a whole lot of nothing. And he still managed to be consistent and amazing. It would give Patrick Mahomes a true guy to take pressure off of A, Travis Kelce, B, give them another threat in the red zone, and C, the way Patrick Mahomes is able to keep plays alive is incredible. And by keeping plays alive, players down the field get open. DeAndre Hopkins is really good, especially after working with Deshaun Watson, about working off script once the script quarterback breaks the pocket. DeAndre Hopkins still has plenty left in the tank, I believe. And if you give Patrick Mahomes a true, legit number one receiver, he just won a Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster as his number one. You give him that along with the weapons he already has, like Kadarius Toney, if healthy, Travis Kelce, what Isaiah Pacheco was for them last year, investing their second rounder in Sky Moore and the kid from SMU, Rice, these past 2 seasons. My goodness. Their defense is already extremely underrated. But you add that, pour one out the door for the rest of the NFL.
Your home for the Cowboys.
Stretched that all the way, runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.